Guys, please.
Vale. Well, welcome everybody. Um, welcome everybody. Today we are going to be talking about one of the biggest companies in the world. Have you ever heard the phrase "think different"? Somebody? Well, the author is Steve Jobs. That is the company we're going to be talking. That is Apple. We're going to be analyzing Apple from different parts. However, we should start from the beginning. It all started in Steve Jobs' garage in 1976 when he decided to make a computer made in the outside of wood and with not so much memory. This had a great impact, and they launched in a few years later Apple II. The problem started with Apple III when, in 4 years later, since they had physical problems, they had to remove it from the market. This made that Windows at that moment could get control all over the market without Apple noticing. That's why Steve Jobs wanted to reduce the prices so they could still be able to have the whole market. However, the CEO didn't want to reduce the prices, and even though he got fired since he was pressing so much, he didn't got fired from the company. He only was taken out of the process of developing the computer from Apple. And Steve Jobs was very worried about that. That's why he decided to, in 2001, launch a new product, something new, something that has never been seen before. He launched the Mac OS X and the iPod the first, which make a huge, enormous, and incredible important thing in society. And also, it was able to reach a bigger market. It was bigger than before. And another important point of view is when he launched iPhone 1, when it was the first touchscreen iPhone, and also you could access to internet. And he took all over control from Nokia. And that's how he was able to achieve such a big company that nowadays we can see it all over 30 years and being able to develop different products such as the iPod, the Apple Watch, or the Apple TV.
Well, hello. Now I'm talking about the company values. Let's focus on the mission and vision statements of Apple, which are the foundations for the company's success as one of the most profitable companies in all over the world. Also, thanks to these two statements, Apple employees are motivated to promote and contribute to the creativity for a competitive advantage for the firm. As we can see here, its mission is to bring the best personal computing products and support students, educators, designers, business persons, and consumers in general in over 140 countries around the world. And its vision is to make the best products possible on Earth and to make the world a better place than they found it. Here we can see that Apple efforts in addressing its market opportunities are well represented in the way that its mission focuses on computing products as operational outputs, and its vision aligns with Apple strategy in in responsibility strategy. And another, well, next one.
So now I'm going to talk about the Apple special events that are based on the user experience. So Apple events are memorably flavored by the experience that they give to its audience. So when Apple launches a new product or hosts an event, they generate a maximum boost. So the global interest that Apple generates of its events are phenomenal. So just curious data of these events is that for last year Apple's iPhone event, there were close to 2 million people watching the event on a stream on YouTube. In about 10 minutes, when the event just kicked off, there were 500,000 viewers. So you might be wondering why these events are so popular. And it's because they create a liminal space. They have a sense of intrigue and speculation, and also because the amazing launches that there are at every event. And the most important factor that these events are so popular is because Apple knows its audience. So these four factors is what makes people come back to these to buy more products for Apple. So, and another thing, these events can influence the app industries, and can help the apps designers companies to create apps for to design and develop new apps for the users to enhance the user experience. And now.
So now regarding employees, Apple hires highly innovative, skilled, and creative people who don't need direction, and Apple entrusts them so they can act as they feel it is better for the company to deliver value to the customers. Apple also trains the new workers, and it also reimburses certain educational expenses in order to make better the career of their workers. Another key feature is the teamwork, that it is really, really important in Apple, and it is that important that Apple that the teams are competing always against each other in order to get something very innovative and have something that can be really successful in the market. And they also focus a lot on the payment, and they want to give the same amount of money to men and women for the same job. So in numbers, if we see the numbers, there are more than 130,000 employees only of Apple, which are connected among them, but also with the suppliers and workers across the world. And only in the US, there are more than 2 million workers. And as I said, only in the US. And finally, but not least, there are Apple has been reported to be 40% more productive than the average company in the field. So now, Anna.
So now talking about customers and shops, millions of customers visit Apple stores every month, and they do because they want to try their gadgets and also buy their products. This suppose an 18% of the total revenues of the company, and instead of focus on the price and on the characteristics of the products, Apple shows the actual use to their customers. A lot of companies have tried to imitate the Apple Store's model, but they have failed because Apple is not focused on the products, and it's more focused on the people. And to create strong relationships with them, Apple wants to attract them to its ecosystem and hold them there by creating impact moments, and also by creating a different space on their minds with a unique feeling. For that, Apple have 5 steps to follow. The first of all is the approach customers with a personalized, warm welcome. Then prove to understand the customer's needs. Then present the solution to them to bring them home. Then listen and solve the issues and concerns. And finally, end with a farewell and an invitation for them to come back.
Now I'm going to talk about the international expansion of Apple. So Apple is probably one of the most well-known tech brands, and it is considered to be the 4th largest company in the world. And although it is a pretty much new company, since it has been in the market for 40 years, it has been able to open 500 stores and in over 25 countries. However, although it is globally present, it is highly dependent on its 3 main markets, and those are the US, Europe, and China, and they account for at least 74% of the net sales of the company. And it's important to say also that Apple has been able to expand so much due to the capacity to be able to adapt to the culture of the different regions. And now, apart from the international customers, I'm going to talk about the outsourcing activities that they have decided to implement. So they have, due to these activities, Apple has been able to reduce the price of its products than if they were made in the US, and one of its main suppliers is China. However, the future of this is kind of uncertain, because it is, I think everyone knows that there is like an actual trade conflict between these 2 countries, so we don't really know what is going to be next for Apple. And regarding the future of the global presence, one of the main goals of Apple is to take full advantage of the Chinese market, because as we saw in the previous slide, it's the 3 largest market of Apple, but it's clear to see that it has not been able to take full advantage of the opportunities. And finally, Apple is not present in India, and they want to be able to enter this new country and take advantage of the potential it has.
So what can be the negative aspects of Apple? First, in terms of environmental and sustainability, we know that Apple products sometimes are non-upgradable and non-maintainable items, which means not all of them can always be easily repaired, which leads to a lot of overconsumption, incentives to overconsumption, and a lot of e-waste. And as well, that leads to overexploitation of what we call rare metals, which is not only unsustainable because they're not like going to be around forever, but it's also sometimes in poor working conditions, the mining of rare metals. Also in terms of social risks, the programmed obsolescence makes us feel sometimes like customers are kind of slaves to the updating process, which means like if you have an old device and you make the update, there's like high chances that it's gonna be really slow. But if you have a new one, you have to do always the updating process, even though it might make the device even slower than it was before the update. And also they are known to have like really expensive prices compared to competitors in the market. Also, you have like what's called kind of fake super quick innovation, because Apple is known to release new iPhones almost every year,
but sometimes there are very few differences from one generation to another. So that's part of the criticism that they sometimes have. And also from one generation to another, it's been almost, I think, 12, and yet they have no really performant batteries. So that's also a negative aspect that is often quoted by Apple. And last of them is incompatibility. Apple has a really good user experience with the whole Apple ecosystem that's highly compatible from one device to another. But when it comes to non-Apple products, customers can feel kind of trapped into the Mac OS system, Mac operating system, and which is often incompatible with non-Apple products. And also it works with all that cables and accessories, which are not always compatible with like ordinary laptops that are not Apple. So that's all I think for the negative aspects. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.